everyone. In today's class, we are going to do environmental issues. As we have talked about the different parts that how the pollution is causing, the different types of pollution like air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, soil pollution, and what are the different types of pollutants like a point source, non-point source, a motile, that means they are able to move, right? Some are stationary. That is leading to ozone depletion, that is leading to global warming, that is leading to greenhouse effect. So if we look at the overview of it, that is all leading to degradation of the natural resources. Our natural resources like water, air, land, soil, these all are our natural resources, and that is being degraded because of all the pollutants, because of the causes of the anthropogenic activities. So in today's part we are going to talk about how it has been degraded, what are the reasons of the degradation of the natural resources. So as we know that natural resources is the raw material that occur naturally in the nature, right? So we are getting it from the nature and we are misusing it and are considered valuable in their original form only, right? So the value of the natural resource, it depends on its available quantity. So if the quantity of the natural resource is more, the value is less. If it is less, then value is more, because if we don't have something, we value more, right? The demand is decided by its usefulness to production. That means if it is used more, then that means the demand will be more. So for example, if we talk about the water, right? Without water, there is no survival. So demand of water is more, right? That means its usefulness is more and its utility is more, but it has been not used sustainably. There is no sustainable development of water, right? So we are using it without thinking of the future use, right? For the future generation. What is that? So we are using it continuously. That is known as overutilization. So we are overutilizing the natural resources at the point of depletion, results in oil shortage, coal and minerals, depletion and environmental degradation. So if it is overutilization, then there will be shortage of it, there will be depletion of it, and at last it leads to environmental degradation, right? So this leads to soil erosion that we are going to study, deforestation, we are going to study desertification, extinction of species, climate change, water, land and air pollution. So we have talked about air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, how the pollution has been caused. Let's talk about the other terms. So first is soil erosion, right? So the original soil, it develops continuously but slowly over a long period, right? It is rich in organic matter. Yes, so it is rich in organic matter and rich in the chemical nutrients also, right? So because of which it is providing a physical structure for the plant growth. So the original topsoil, the soil cover, develops continuously but slowly over a long period, and it is rich in organic matter and rich in chemical nutrients, like the humus content is good, right? The nutrients are good which are needed for the plant growth, right? So it can be removed very as easily by the human activities. So for example, when the original vegetation is cleared, like the deforestation, that is cutting down of trees, right? The land is planted with crops. Most of its organic matter is harvested and removed, and because of which there is less input of dead organic matter. The soil is exposed to the sunlight, which is warming up, and the rate of decomposition is more. It is speeding up, right? So it can be removed by the human activities like overcultivation, unrestricted grazing, deforestation, that is cutting down of trees, and the poor irrigation practices, which leads to the arid patches of land. There is barren land which is present now. So what are the reasons? First, let's talk about desertification. So desertification is the formation of desert, right? So desertification is the deterioration or degradation of the land in the arid region, in the semi-arid region and dry subhumid areas because of the changes in climate. And what are those changes in climates? Like there's an increase in humidity, increase in the global warming, increase in the temperature because of the human activities or the anthropogenic activities. Let's talk about the causes. What are the causes of desertification? That is grazing and crop production. So first, excessive grazing and crop production on the same particular land, that leads to desertification because all the minerals and all the nutrients have been removed. If there is poor rainfall, like rainfall is less, that leads to desertification. Bad farming practices, that means lack of contour plowing, lack of the nutrients, farming practices, all the instruments, they have not been used properly, right? Poor forestry practices, like cutting all the trees in an area, right? So if you cut all the trees in an area, right, that leads to desertification. Excessive use of pesticides, which are used for killing the pests. There's release of toxic chemicals, acid rain. As we have seen that these all are the secondary pollutants, are very harmful pollutants, right, which leads to poisoning of the soil and that inhibit the plant growth. So all of these areas, like irrigation in the arid areas, can lead to desertification. When irrigation water evaporates, a residence of salt is left behind that cause toxicity of the soil, right? So let's talk about the water logging and the soil salinity, which is one of the causes. So irrigation without the proper drainage, that means you're doing irrigation, you're providing water, but there is no drainage system for the water to move out. That leads to water logging and water stays in the crops, right, in the soil. So besides affecting the crops, it draws the salt of the surface. So all the nutrients in the salt is taken up by the water from the soil, and the salt deposited as a thin crust on the land surface, or it start collecting at the root of the plant, right? So that is leading to water logging. So water logging and soil salinity are some of the problems that have come in Green Revolution. So Green Revolution refers to the post World War II. Right? So these programs focus on the development of the new strains of crop that give higher yield, that means the quantity, right? So it should be resistant to diseases, capable of growing, and because of these, increased agricultural practice make the use of uncontrolled fertilizers that leads to soil salinity. So what is soil salinity? That saline soil is unsuitable. That means the salt content in the soil is more, which is unsuitable for the plant growth. So lack of the sufficient crop productions due to the unfit soil leads to the large impact on the world economy, and that leads to starvation, death, and many types of diseases. So this is about water logging, this is about desertification, how the soil erosion is taking place and how it is degraded because of the improper resources and utilization and maintenance. So I hope you understood. Thank you.